Hello out there. Happy Thursday. Hi, Side Eyes Jess, my mod. Hi, Sister Lynn. It's Cyberchick, Boston. Thank you for joining. Welcome to my command center. How do you like the mic? I moved my mic. I'm having issues because it's always in the way when I'm commanding. Um, just for the layout sake, I have 4 monitors, 2 laptops, a key. I have a lot going on, and I have, like, this stand-up desk, and I have a stand-up desk here. So, I'm still trying to figure out where the mic goes. I don't know, maybe I need a stand that just but then it would be in my way here. I don't know. Hey, Kelly, thank you so much. Another sister. Hi, Deb. This is fun. Thank you so much for joining. I have a lot to talk about, but I don't even know. I don't know. Where do we want to start? What's everyone doing? How's everyone's day? I'm glad this was a tough week. Okay. This was the Monday after the holidays. It's January forever. It's January 90th or whatever. It's forever. It's crazy. So it's so good to see everyone. I wanted to jump on and talk about the First Amendment. I have a lot of feelings. I have a lot of emotions about it. So, yeah. So we're going to talk about what it is. Hey, Noodles Mama, thank you for joining. Getting ready to leave to watch the boys wrestling. Get those AirPods in. Isn't that the best? Oh, I love your picture. Is that new? Your profile picture of Turtle Boy? Hey, Nikki, thank you. So let's talk about the First Amendment. And what I want to talk about is, why do we care? Why do we care about independent journalists and why they're important to us? And what is the First Amendment? And it's funny, not in a ha-ha way, but in an ironic way. I was planning on talking about this at some point, and then with the news this week, with what happened in Minnesota, I just think it's time to have an honest conversation. And I don't want to get into politics because everyone will probably go crazy if I did that. And that's not what this is about. You know, when I started this channel in October, oh my God, it was just in October. It was really to focus and get the word out about the cult that my family was dealing with and my niece's journey for the past 7 years in the cult. And then it started to evolve into, like, I really like doing lives. And I met so many nice people in the process and along the way. And I've wrangled my sisters to do the Salty Sisters. I'm trying to wrangle my nieces to come on. And I think we have a lot of different and diverse opinions and views. And it would be really great to share them and to continue these conversations and to try to do it in a non-divisive way, if that's possible. Oh, your middle son made that pic. I love it. Oh, you'll keep it up till he's free. Well, that's so appropriate for this conversation. I love that. Noodles Mama, you live in Minnesota, so I can't even imagine what it's like there right now. But I think it's really important for us to keep these conversations going, and I don't know, to do it in a way, if we could only find a way to have conversations that weren't divisive. People come in so hot right from the start. Kelly's saying hi to you, Deb. That's so cute. You guys know my sisters. It's so cute. My sisters had nothing to do with YouTube until I dragged them into this platform, and now they're here, and I love it. They're so supportive. So how do we have these types of dialogues where we talk about, what I want to know is, where does everyone get their reliable information? Because as soon as something happens, each side takes a stance and they hate each other, and I'm having a hard time getting the facts. So just want to spend some time talking about truth, facts, data. I'm a data-driven person. I've been in, oh my God, my lips look so bright, don't they? This isn't Stain. This is Thrive. I just threw it on for a meeting. Is that what I look like in the meeting? Oh my God, it's so. I've gotten so many messages about the salmon sperm. It's hysterical. Oh, we've got Zach. Zach, is this your first show since the holidays? We've missed you. And you're not allowed to call. No one has called me Cyber Chicken. maybe one person, and I gently corrected them. So I don't want to start that up again, Zach. Let's keep that to the side. So, okay, so I of course tapped into. So I'm in cybersecurity. I think everyone knows that. And what we deal with when we're looking at threat intel information, we're looking at data. We're looking at facts. We're looking at anomalies. We're looking at getting to the truth of, is someone a fraud? Has someone committed fraud? Has stuff been stolen? So that's how my brain processes information in the real world because it's been ingrained in my life for so long. So I'm going to share my chat GPT that I did because I love chat GPT. Let's see, which one is it? First Amendment. Okay, here it is. Share. Give me 1 second to just pull this up. Zach, since you've been gone, I became a YouTube expert. You're going to be so impressed. We missed you. Happy New Year to you too. Every single person in every single chat knows Zach. I don't know if you can see that, so I'll read it. So I'm going to give you a high-level overview. What are the First Amendments and why do we care about them? Obviously, everyone probably knows. I don't need to do a history lesson, but I think it's important to just be upfront with what we're specifically talking about. Obviously, it means freedom of religion, speech, press, freedom of assembly, freedom to petition the government. I think we've lost sight of a few of these. And what I want to really focus on is speech and press, because I think those are the ones that are front and center right now when we're talking about Turtle Boy's charges, when we're talking about what happened in Minnesota, when I'm talking about how I use journalists to find the facts. Because let's face it, how do we find news? I don't know. How do you guys find the news out there? Oh, look, I forgot I made you a mod side-eye, Jess. I love seeing the blue wrench. That's so awesome. So we, when I think about why journalists are important to me personally, I grew up watching the news, the mainstream media, and I never watch that now. I'll give you an example. When I first learned about the Karen Reed case, actually, it was in 2022. That was because I had turned the news station on because we were having a snowstorm and I wanted an update. Normally, I wouldn't have it on. I was cooking dinner. I specifically remember thinking, oh my gosh, that's horrible. They just found someone dead and they said the girlfriend did it and they have Ring camera video of it. They had proof. And my only question was it a fight and she did on purpose? Or was it an accident and she had no idea? But either way, how horrific. Went on with my life. Never heard about it again. Never thought about it. Well, then fast forward to, let me see, when did I think it was October 2023 on social media, I read the Turtle Boy was arrested. And I remembered seeing a couple of stories about Turtle Boy, but I didn't follow him and I heard nothing else about Karen Reed. And I'm like, wow, Turtle Boy was arrested. He must have committed a crime. So I searched, what did he do? Did he kill someone? Was it a robbery? What crime did he commit? And when I read the story, I'm like, that can't be right. And then I back-ended into how's long to whatever die to you die in the snow. And I immediately thought something's wrong here. And so that again, lack of information on my part because I wasn't watching mainstream media. So all that to say is I started relying on Turtle Boy as an independent journalist to give me the information. Oh, Zach is grilling ribs. I know. Can we just pause to say, I know this is probably a horrible time, but I rely a lot on the replay crew because we get a lot of replays. But this is just a great time right after work, like before I wind down, to just jump on into a live. So all that to say that I always need facts for every aspect of my life. And I think we all do. And I kind of think of them as connectors. How do I get reliable data and facts on my politics, on my personal life, on finances, on health, world news, technology? I'm a big technology person. I go to Verge and Wired. Those are my sources for technology. For politics, I follow Heather Cox Richardson. She's a brilliant historian. She's a professor at Boston College. She teaches history. She started doing a nightly newsletter to Americans to give you a historical point of view of current events. I love her because she talks my language. She does it in both audio and written form. So that, and I trust her. So we really have to talk about who we trust. And by trust, it's, are they telling the truth? Is there facts? Can they back it up? And the First Amendment is supposed to protect that, right? I'm going to read the chat for a minute. You guys are hysterical. Nikki, you're welcome. It's so fun when the chat is, I feel like I'm missing out. Now I know when Jess says, oh, I want to be part of the chat because I wasn't paying attention to the chat and I felt bad. So for financial information, I'm a Wall Street Journal girl or New York Times. I like to have different connectors. I'm going to listen to Jess because she's very intelligent with the politics that are going on in the GOP of Massachusetts, and I don't have a source for that. And I was entertained by Turtle Boy. So I found him in jail, and not like Mary did, but I became aware of him in jail in October of 2023 and started following him and followed all his shows, joined his sex cult, which isn't really a cult for my family out there. It's a members only, and joined that in August of 2024, have continued to be a member because he entertains me. But I also really enjoy the stories, and I feel like he does it with integrity. And I know some people may argue about that, but I don't get it because I trust him. It's all about people that you trust. If we don't have journalists, if they're not able to report on facts, if they're not able to knock on doors, then how are we going to get the information? I don't know what happened in Minnesota. I don't have a trusted source that was there. I have my eyes in the video, and that's pretty scary and telling. But then you start hearing all these different accounts, and you're wondering, did I get the full story? I've heard so many different stories. I want a source that's out there that I trust that can tell me. And that's where the First Amendment comes in. We have to protect the independent journalists, especially as we're in this digital age. The digital age is both a curse and it's a blessing because we're getting all sorts of information coming at our fingertips, but is it reliable? And that's where independent journalists come into play, and we have to do everything that we can to protect them. So I'll give you an example. If you followed my channel, you might be new here, it might be the first time that you're listening to us on replay. I mentioned the cult, that we were involved in a 7-year journey with my niece's cult. You can go back and listen to a couple of episodes if you want. I'm going to replay it maybe tomorrow if I have time. Replay a podcast that I did that in about an hour wraps up the story. Hey, Mel Mac, thank you so much for jumping in. So when we lost Brianna for a period of time and we couldn't really find out exactly what was going on, we reached out to a reporter that was going to the cult compound. She had access, and she was my eyes, our family's eyes and ears to what was going on, and we trusted her. Alice Hines worked for Vanity Fair. She said to me, I reached out to her, she contacted me. She could have just ignored me. I told her, our niece is there. You're going there to interview Jeff and Shalair. You'll talk to Brianna and Gabe. Here are the questions. Here's our concerns. Is she being assaulted? Is she under influence of drugs or alcohol? What's her mental health like? And she said, I will do my best to get you all this information, but please know I will be non-biased. I am going in with a clear slate, and I'm going to form my own opinion. And I thought, that's what you're supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be that person who is forming their own opinion. And that's what I wanted. And she did that for us. 2 years, so we did a documentary through Alice Hines. She connected us with Amazon Prime. The documentary is called Desperately Seeking Soulmate, Escaping Twin Flames. And 2 years after that documentary was released, another journalist from Canada I guess Avery Haynes, she's phenomenal. I think she's the equivalent to a 60 Minutes correspondence that we have here. They reached out to her, Jeff and Shalia, and said, "Hey, can you do um, a rebuttal to the documentaries because we got some bad press?" They hired a PR firm. Same thing. She said, "I will do it, but I will be non-biased. I will form my own opinion," and she did. And I had her on as well. That was fantastic. She was so good. So if you get an opportunity to catch her either on my stream or just go look up Avery Haynes, she was phenomenal. Isn't it great to have independent journalists who can be eyes for us? That's what they are. What's going on in the world? Go and report and find out. I really enjoy Brian Enton. He's an independent journalist. I'm not even sure how I stumbled. I guess he's with News Nation. I don't watch News Nation, but I just started watching his videos and I trust him. There was something there. He doesn't seem to show one side or the other. He shows the facts and the truth. So I really like that. Side Eyes is watching The Expert as he switched through live feeds of the marching last night and showed multiple angles of the incident. It's heartbreaking either way. That's what I'm saying, Side Eyes. I mean, that is just horrific. And my instinct is a mother is dead for apparently something that could have been avoided. But I won't go too deep into the political aspect of it. I'm just trying to focus on what's right and what's wrong, and how did we get here, right? How do we get the facts out without penalizing journalists for doing that? Because that seems to be what's happening to Aiden. So I'm going to go back to the First Amendment. And while it's powerful, it's not limited and unlimited, and it's also not without its consequences, right? So things you can't do with free speech is you can't threaten people. You can't say, "I'm going to kill you tomorrow." That's not allowed. You can't incite imminent violence, meaning go burn that building down right now, like force people to be terrorized. Defamation, harassment, and stalking, which is repeated, targeted behavior meant to intimidate or terrorize someone. That's not allowed. And obscenities. You can't have extreme pornographic material. And the reason why I'm going over this is I think people have lost sight of why what's happening to Turtle Boy is horrific. Because we can't know the facts if we don't have free speech. And some of you may have heard this, but I'm not a cult lady. So a couple of people have called me a cult lady, which is really funny. I don't mind that. You can call me the cult lady, but I'm not an expert. I just share what happened to my family, so it's kind of funny. I have other things I've been called. I'll tell you later, but I was called the rat lady when my kids brought home a rat and they had babies and I had all these rats. I've been called the dog lady because I've always had a lot of dogs. So I'm the cult lady. That's okay. You may have heard of Jim Jones, and it's known as Jonestown. And he, in the 1970s, got 1,000 people to leave California, children, families, single people, and follow him to a remote island. And that's the Jonestown incident. And reporters went there with the congressman, and he forced them to drink Kool-Aid. That's the cult I'm talking about. But before that happened, a bunch of reporters, I think there were a dozen reporters with a congressman, went to investigate because enough families of those 1,000 people complained and said, "Hey, something's not right here. It's a cult. You need to go and find out what's going on." Again, relied on the journalists. Otherwise, they wouldn't have known what's going on with their families. And the journalists went to the remote island, spent the night, did an interview, captured a lot of disturbing things on video. They were leaving. Some of the people wanted to leave. They were like, "Okay, this is scary. I don't want to be part of this." So they were taking not a lot out of the 1,000, maybe 20 people were leaving with them. And as they were just about to board the aircraft, people from under Jim Jones' direction opened fired, and 6 journalists were killed, and the congressman, and a bunch of people were wounded. And we never would have known about it if that footage didn't make its way back to the US for us to view. And then, of course, the outcome was he forced everyone to drink the Kool-Aid, and they died. So that's to give you an example why we need reporting, accurate, fair reporting. That's why it's important to me. So I don't know all the ins and outs of how many charges Turtle Boy is facing, but it seems on the surface when I listened to him and when I did the cursory research, it just seems like it's stopping him from doing his free speech and free press. And I think that's really scary, and it's not the world that we want to live in. But I don't know what to do about it. Dramatic pause. I don't know what to do about it. I think that we need to all come together, and I would ask everyone out there to find your connectors, to find your honest truth tellers. Don't follow just, TikTok. I mean, I love my nieces. I know you're out there, but that's not where you should be getting your news. And I cannot tell you how many people I talk to that say, I saw it on TikTok. So I learn about it on TikTok. Is it possible that there's a journalist on TikTok? Yes. But that should not be the sole place that we go to get our information. That's right. Thank you. Thank you, Jess. Keep speaking, baby. That's what we can do about it. Yeah, I don't feel like that's enough, though. Could you imagine if Turtle Boy actually goes to prison for these charges? And it's not only the fact that this isn't just about Turtle Boy. I'm trying to make it a bigger picture here. It'll stop other people from doing it. Maybe, the reporter that's in Minnesota that has everything captured doesn't want to share it because the government is watching and they might not appreciate that because it's going to paint them in a bad light. I don't know. The whole thing just has an ick. I feel ick about it. And we are so divided, Nikki. Right. We'll take the tea and head to the harbor. So I just want to hop on here and say free speech is critical, free press. We have to make sure we maintain it, we support it. If that means that you join Turtle Boy's members, and this isn't a commercial for Turtle Boy, by the way, he's not a saint, but we have to support the journalists that we listen to. And we have to make sure that we support their platforms, share them, make sure that we're constantly doing this, advocating for them. Kelly, I know I can't stand it either. They are bullshit. I actually pinged Turtle Boy and invited him to come on in the next week or two if he wants to start up his horror tour again. I'd love to have him on just to talk about it and I think we need a refresher of what the hell happened and what are you charged with? I actually used ChatGPT to say, give me a list of Aiden Kearney's charges, and it was confused. There were so many. There were some dismissed, some not dismissed. So I could use a refresher. We've been pushed to such extremes. Yep. And you're shamed if you find common grounds. I know. Yeah, I just have this feeling that what happened in Minnesota is big. I think it's heating up. I don't think we have clarity at the top, and that scares me. I think we have a lot of cover up going on from every angle. Everyone is to blame. I throw everyone in the same bucket. Like let's there's no working together. And it makes me sad. And again, from a cyber perspective, when you're looking at the digital landscape, it can be overwhelming. So we just want to make sure we get a clear view of what's going on. That's what I wanted to talk about. As far as Renee Nicole Good, who was shot, I mean, I'll give you an example of how I don't know what the hell's going on. Initially, I heard she was a legal observer, which was interesting. If that's like someone who shows up to these demonstrations and reports what's happening and reports on the, beforehand and afterwards. But it's legal. It's legal to do that. First Amendment, it's legal to protest. It's legal to report on that. So she wasn't, even if she was a legal observer, I know that she was a mom. I heard that her wife and dog were in the car. I don't know if that's accurate though. So I am hesitant to even say. So if they were in the car, then they have a first-hand experience of what happened, and hopefully that will be helpful in this situation. We have the videos, but everyone spins the videos, and we don't know, you know, I've seen I mean, I'm in technology. You can't trust everything that you're seeing on video. Has it been clipped? Has it been manipulated? Who's doing the timestamps? What are we doing to make sure there hasn't been any fraud in the video, the videos that come out? Because I've seen different angles and they're kind of different. And I think one that I'm seeing a lot of is after the fact, but they're presenting it as happening before. So we just don't know. And that makes me sad. So that gets back to what are we going to do with how are we going to source this? How are we going to get this information? Yeah, you're welcome, Nina. Yeah, it's a lot of the terms are new to me too, to be honest with you. Um, Toy, look at who's here. Thank you so much for coming. Rat House Media in the house. So I was trying to reach Danny, and I don't know how to. So Toy, I'm at Cyberchick in Boston at Gmail. I'll drop it in the notes. I tried on Twitter, and Twitter said Danny hates you, so you can't talk to him, which I thought was really rude, but that's what it said. I'm not lying, maybe a little. Hold on. I thought we could do a collab on something I have in mind. He doesn't have to though, but if you wouldn't mind passing that email over to him, I'd love a chance to collab with him on stuff if he's interested. And thank you. Your music is phenomenal. Anyone on this chat, especially my sisters who are new to YouTube, go over to Toy74 and sub for her and listen to the unbelievable AI tunes. I mean, they're so phenomenal. They're so interesting. They've got a nice vibe. I don't know how you do it. I'd love to know how long it takes. My intro, my Cyberchick intro that runs, I don't know, 15 seconds, took me 2 hours. I'm a technology person. I'm like, why is that taking me so long? Oh, hold on, we have a problem. We're having trouble streaming to Facebook. There may be an issue. That's okay. I don't care. That's all right. This is only the second time that I started to stream on multiple platforms. I did it with my sisters Tuesday night for Salty Sisters. I went on X and Facebook. It didn't have a problem, but now it's telling me I'm having a problem on Facebook, which is fine. That's okay. I'm still new. So I started, like I said, in October. And ran through the gamut of wanted to talk about the cult. That was the primary goal of setting this up. But we are up to 657 subs, which I appreciate each and every one of you. Rat House Media drives a lot of subs every time I go on there. So does Jess Machado. I love Jess. Jess is phenomenal. So, and thank you, Side Eyes, for saying hit the like button. I appreciate it. Yeah, so I just feel really icky that this has happened this week. It hurts my soul. It's not a great way to start the new year. It kind of feels intentional. Again, I don't want to get into the politics, but like we sent a hell of a lot of ICE agents to Minnesota with a purpose. And I don't know. I don't love it. I don't love it. I feel bad. And you guys are this is like therapy for me. You guys are letting me chat. It's so nice. I'm so happy to have Toya in the house. Yeah, I know. We don't want to talk politics, right, Jess? It's just It's like a fog war, I think they call it, when all this shit is happening, but no one's thinking clearly, so they can't even tell you what happened, and I'd like to know what the outcome is. I'd like to know what the plan is. It just okay, we're getting political. So I'm gonna back up and go back to the First Amendment. Yeah, I think I can take this down. Hold on one second. Let me remove it. So it's interesting because you don't need to be licensed to be a journalist. I didn't know that. I always thought there was a license involved. I guess you don't need any training. You don't need a license. You and you know, so you can be a blogger, you can be a reporter, you can be a YouTuber, content creator, podcaster, Substack writer, citizens journalists. All of that is protected, and we have to make sure that it continues to be protected. Oh, you guys are so sweet. Madison, this is my niece right here. Maddie, when are you going to come on with me? She's so intelligent. I'd love to have my nieces come on. Yeah, I feel like no one is safe in this country anymore, and no one's united, and it's really sad. Sorry, I'm getting email. I'm reading it. I know that's really rude, but I have to see what they're saying. I have FOMO. Legal observers are put forward by activist networks and civil liberty groups to watch, document, and report on law enforcement interactions. While they should be protected under the First Amendment to monitor police and ICE actions, community groups say that they are not active participants in confrontations. They're typically nonviolent volunteers and should be safe and protected. So that's sad. That's what ChatGPT just said a legal observer role is for those who were looking. I wish I could do YouTube. I'm not very Kelly, you're so interesting, and you can totally do it, and actually, anyone who wants to do YouTube and they're not sure what to do, send me an email. I put it in it's in my show notes. I'd be happy to have you on as a guest to get a feel for it. Before my first show, Nurse Kim, who we love, had a meet and greet coffee session. Of course, typical Nurse Kim style, she announced it Saturday night and it was Sunday the next day, which is so cute. So I went. I was like, I can actually go to that. And there were only 12 of us, I think, because it was a small group because it was last minute. And I just went so I could watch her and say, what do you do? How do you do this? What's this about? And then I went to StreamYard was having a deal for the year. So I signed up. I kind of had the setup because this is what I do for a living. I'm on a lot of meetings like this. So that wasn't the hard part. It was really figuring out StreamYard and figuring out how to, StreamYard is the connector that goes out to whatever platform you choose. So YouTube is the most popular one, but you can also put it to Facebook, LinkedIn, X, any platform that you desire. But anytime that someone wants to come on, I'll interview. I'm really good at conversation, so I can make you feel comfortable, and we'll talk about you, and we'll talk about me, and we'll get to know each other. So if it's something you want to try, I offered it out to Cheech because I know I heard her on Jimmy say that she wanted to try it. I said, I'd be happy to do it for you. It's not comfortable to talk politics, but if we don't, it's like being ostriches with our heads in the sand. Then bad things happen, go unnoticed. I know. I don't I mean, we used to be able to talk about politics, right? Okay, so I'm guilty of this. I'm guilty as charged. When I met Jess, I'm a mod for Jess Machado. And one day I should read the note that I sent to her. It was so funny. So I have a love-hate relationship with Jess. I love her though now. It all worked out fine. But I think I was closed-minded and I had this perception of what she was going to be. And then she got on and she mentioned that she's a GOP and she's loud and proud. and she is for Trump. She likes Trump. And that was okay. I'm like, okay, that's not my jam, but I can listen and learn because she's intelligent. She made a couple of comments that I misunderstood because from her point of view, I've talked about this, so I hope I'm not boring people, but she likes to stay at home and she likes trad wife. And she was just talking about what she likes, what works for her. And what I took from that because of my own insecurities, and I was a working mom. I've been in cybersecurity for 30 years. I'm very passionate about my job. I love my job. I don't feel bad about it. I had a really great, my kids are great. They're wonderful. So I wrote her a letter because I would subscribe to her, and then she would make those comments, and I'd hit on, I'm unsubscribing. I can't listen to her. And then 4 hours later, I'm still on the stream listening to her at a estate sale with her husband. I'm like, okay, something's wrong here. I like Jess. She's authentic. She's funny. I like her. I'm gonna subscribe. And then she'd say something, I'd unsubscribe. And one night, I put in the chat, don't attack women who work, which she wasn't doing, but I internalized it. And she didn't say a word because she wasn't even reading the chat at the time. She was in the studio, but the chat is so protective of her. They kind of came at me, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm getting attacked by the chat. And I was like, I'm just trying to have an even keel discussion here about, some women work and that works, some stay home, and so the next day it just weighed on me. So I wrote her this long email and sent it again through Twitter because I didn't know what her email was, and didn't hear from her. And I'm like, that's fine. Maybe she didn't read it. You can never tell with Twitter. It's a strange way to communicate. And she Saturday morning, I'm buzzing around my house doing chores, listening to Jess because I'm all in now. I don't care. I got off my chest. I wrote her a letter, and she's like, "Oh, wait a minute! I got this letter on Twitter." She starts reading this email. I'm like, "Oh my goodness, that's my letter!" It was so funny. I'll read it sometime. It was me saying things like, I felt attacked when you said that. I upset the chat. I didn't mean to, but this is where I'm coming from, and this is my lived experiences. My dog just came in, and we were and then I went on to, hey, my channel is new. At the time I had, I think, 150 subs, and she didn't laugh, or she's like, oh my gosh, 150 subs in 2 months is great. And I went into the cult story, and she's just stopped everything and said, I want to know about this cult. Be a guest. And she invited me on, and the rest is history. And now I'm a mod for her, which is really funny. So the whole point of that story is you have to have an open mind, and you have to approach things with intelligence, and you have to be able to have the difficult conversations. So thank you, Mel Mac. I remember that chat. You handled yourself so gracefully and earned my respect that day. We could all be more open-minded. Yeah, I definitely, learn. You would think at this point in my career and stage in life, I would have already learned that lesson, but I think it's one that I have to keep learning over and over and over again. I swear I'm your fourth sister. You'd be the fifth, Kelly. You could be our fifth. There's 4 of us. We have a brother too. We have to get Joe on. Joe hasn't jumped on yet. Joe, are you out there? Hi, Diane Gee. Thank you for joining. If you're late, we talked about the First Amendment. We're trying to solve the independent journalist problem. I don't know if anyone have any good. Joe is single. You guys are funny. Wow, we went there quick, Jess. That is so funny. I work too, but I don't remember this one. So here's the thing. I think that when my kids were young, I got a lot of shit 30 years ago for working. I just did. And it never occurred to me not to work. I've always been financially independent. I'm an independent soul. My husband knows that. I've been married for over 30 years. He, it's just the way we live. And it worked for us. Whatever works for different people. But I think because I had to be so I was challenged on it quite a bit throughout my career, and both at work and personally, and comments that people made throughout. Hopefully people aren't going through that today. Hopefully we've moved past that and people just don't care. I mean, in today's environment, I think it's really hard not to work, but if you don't want to work, hopefully you can afford to stay home, and if you want to work, hopefully that works for you as well. It's whatever works for your family. It's so freaking hard. Everything is so hard. So I think I was sensitive to that. So every time she said trad wives, plus trad wives to me, oh my gosh, it just to me it's negative, but it's not to everyone. I learned. That's what I learned. It's not a negative for everyone. So that's my story. We have 68 people. Can I just say that's the most people I've had on the live chat? Thank you for coming, and thank you to all the replay people too. I appreciate it. It's fun. I was a working mom too, Kelly says. Never thought I could ever stay home. I worked in the medical field for 27 years. That's so tough. Until the fucking vid. Yeah. Wow. 27 years is a long time. Yeah, I think it's whatever works for your family. I think it's whatever works for your family. Hey, do you want to shut the door for me? Prince opened it when he came in. Thank you. Yeah, he can stay with me. Thank you. That's my husband. He wants nothing to do with this. He's so cute. I'll say, I'm going to do a live. And he's like, okay, does it involve me? I go, no. He's like, okay, have fun. Don't talk about anything too personal. He knows. I have him trained from a cybersecurity spot, which is awesome. Boxer, I like your profile pic. Oh my God, what a beautiful baby. Is it a girl? Jess is doing amazing with her channel. She was also very friendly outside Karen Reed trial. She really is a girl's girl. She really is. She gets dragged. I don't like that she gets dragged so much. I really don't. It's unnecessary. She gets dragged for her looks, for her weight, and she's so friggin' funny. I mean, the puppets. I was dying. I couldn't even sleep last night after her show because I was just in such a state because I laughed so hard. Oh my gosh, when my husband came in, I should have said, Tommy, we did it. I keep saying that to him. He has no idea I kissed him goodbye this morning. I'm like, Tommy, we did it. He's like, who the frig is Tommy? He has no idea. We have a bunch of rats in here. Hi, rats. You want to hear my rat story? So I had two boys that were at the time, oh my gosh, how old were they? Bryce was playing football, so high school or middle school. I don't know. So say they were in their teens. My youngest was a teenager, and I love animals, and he knows that. And he came home with a rat, and he said, "Mom, his best friend's Ben. I don't know. His Ben's sister's friend got a rat, and her parents are like, "You're going to college. You can't keep the rat. No one wants the rat. The rat's gonna die. They're gonna put the rat outside." I'm like, "Okay, we can't kill the rat." There were two rats, Ramsey and something. I don't know. My horrible mother. I don't remember. So I said, "I'll take the two rats," because they had the cages and everything. I'm like, "Okay, there's two rats. I'll take them. No problem." Was it two? No, I'm sorry. Back up. Ramsey was one. One rat, white rat. And I'm like, I don't really want a rat, but okay, fine. I get a rat. And it's a big rat. But you know what? I love animals. And you could pet it and it had the rat tail. I mean, people would think it was so gross, but it was really, really cute. I like this rat, Ramsey. So, we had the rat. And about 2 months later, I'm at football practice with Bryce, and my oldest calls me and he's like, Mom, I have a friend over. Yep, okay. He's like, something's wrong with Ramsey. I'm like, what do you mean something's wrong with Ramsey? And he's like, she's having babies. Ramsey was having babies, okay? And I'm like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah. So my husband's furious. I go home. There's like 8 rats. I'm like, oh my God, we have 8 rats. And I don't know anything about what I'm supposed to do with rats. My husband threw a face cloth in the aquarium or the tank. It's called a tank. I'm like, why did you put it? He goes, I don't know. They need something. So we don't know what to do. Ramsey is taking care of them, but we don't know. We get up. John, my husband's not happy. He wakes me up. He's like, I think she's killing her rats. She's killing her babies. Like, what is going on? So I go in there, we don't know. She's burying them all. She's burying them with the shavings. She's pulling at them. It looks like she's eating the anyways, I won't go into details. Covered them with a face cloth. I didn't know what to do. I The next day, they were all fine. I guess she knew what she was doing. It's nature to I don't know, is the chat totally grossed out by this rat story? I can't believe I'm telling a rat story. This is really funny. Yeah, so the next day I've got Ramsey and then like, I don't know, I forget, 8 little rats that are fine and thriving and they grow really fast. So then I had to keep a rat because you can't get rid of all of them. So I had to bring them to the pet store. And anyways, long story short, we had 2 rats. And then I was bringing them to the vets. I don't know. Well, they after they died, the vet was calling me saying, "We've got rats and we have you in the database as a rat lady." I'm like, "I'm not the rat lady. I just had pets for my son." So I was anyways, welcome Rat House Media. That story went I know, Kelly. Kelly's like, "That's disgusting." I love all animals. I can't help it. I know. I know. Keeping the babies warm, Jess. She knew what she was doing. I guess she has to be really aggressive and eat all the stuff off them. I don't know. I think she's eating her kids. I'm like, maybe that's what rats do. I don't know. I didn't know. Anyways, I'm the rat lady. So I got that call. I'm like, no, I don't want someone's rats. I'm not a rat lady. We just had a pet and I would take him to the vets, which you don't really have to take a rat to. I don't know. I've never had a rat. I know. Yep, I was a rat lady. I was also the dog lady because I've always had dogs hanging on my car. Okay, this has been so fun. We're up to 74 people fighting for the First Amendment right. Okay, so anyone have any good independent journalists that they follow that they can drop in here? I gave you The Verge, The Wire for good technology resources. I use the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times for financial stuff. Heather Cox Richardson is my go-to for political stuff. She's really good. What else do I have? What do you guys have? Who's your independent journalist? We've got to get Turtle Boy freed so he can come report on my cult. We have to get Turtle Boy free so he can help us with other things. Because quite frankly, I don't want to hear about any of the drama shit that is going on. I just don't. I'm kind of in the same place with like I'm done with the Karen Reed stuff. I want other things, other cases. I want to know what happened to the dentist. Anyone have an update on the dentist? I worked all day. I haven't seen. Come on, chat. Don't let me down. What's going on with the dentist? What's going on with the dentist, Kelly? And what's going on with any journalists? Anyone have any favorite independent journalists that they follow? Where are you guys getting your information? Where do people watch the news or get their news? Mass accountability. Okay, mass accountability. I don't follow them, but I will. Cheryl with an S. I'm Cheryl with a C. You know that. Okay, what dentist? So a dentist, I think it happened last week. Spencer and his wife Mo in Ohio were shot in their house. Have you seen that? Do you want me to play that? I played it on hold on, let me go over here. Where did I get that? Did I get that from Brian? I think that was Brian. Let's go to Brian's YouTube. You guys are really polite because I'm totally learning how to do all this in front of you guys and you don't care. So that's really nice. Thank you. Let's go see Brian Enton. See, he's my go-to guy. And you can listen to, I think it's like 3 or 4 minutes. We'll listen to it. We'll listen to even though I did it with my sisters, we'll do it again. Hold on. Hold on. I know I'm not sharing it yet. I'm just still trying to tee it up appropriately. Okay. Hold on, everybody. Don't go anywhere. I don't watch any news mostly because it's bad. I know. But then what happens is I'm behind. And I'm like, what happened? Oh, that's a good one. Lynn, David Muir. Okay, sorry, I got distracted. Give me 1 second. Okay. Let me see if I have it teed up to the right spot. Okay. Let's start there so you can see them. Thumbs up if you can
Now, as
hear
for
it.
those 911 calls, first let me play you the call from Spencer's boss, who is concerned because Spencer did not show up to work. Listen to this.
Police, Tech 107.
Yes, I would like to ask for a wellness check on an individual at their home. Well, I'm currently in the state of Florida. I'm on vacation, but this individual, Spencer, works with me, and he did not show up to work this morning, and we cannot get a hold of him or his family.
He didn't show up to work?
Correct.
Okay. Does he have medical problems or?
No, and he's been reliable, and we cannot get in touch with him, his wife, his family, anybody that lives in that house.
Okay. So
There's
you're
two
in
kids in the
Florida.
home. I'm in Florida. I own the business. I was informed by my employees that he was not at work, and he runs the office.
Did you receive information that he may have been involved in an accident or?
No, ma'am. I just know that he is he is always on time, and he would contact us if there is any issues whatsoever. And I just don't know how else to say this. We're very, very concerned because this is very out of character. And we can't get in touch with his wife, which is probably the more concerning thing.
Okay. We will send somebody over as soon as we have an officer available, okay?
Okay. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
And there's also a 911 call, several of them actually, from coworkers who actually went to the house. Apparently they were just panicked. He didn't show up to work, totally uncommon for him. And so they just decided to drive over to the house, and then they also called 911. Listen to this.
Our boss did not report to work. We haven't been able to get a hold of him for 3 hours. We are on site, and we can hear.
Okay, I just talked to somebody there.
Okay, I'm just making sure somebody called.
Yeah, I just got a call from somebody and set it back up for dispatch.
Okay.
Are you there? Because you're not showing that you're at the
No,
location.
I'm en route there.
911, what's the location of your emergency? Okay, what's the emergency there? Police or medical?
Maybe both, I guess. I don't know. I'm kind of doing the wellness.
We had a call out there. They knocked on the front door and back door multiple times, and there was no answer.
Yeah, no answer. I can hear kids inside, and I swear I think I heard one yell, but we can't get in. At this point, I don't know if I need to break the door in or just get in the house or what. So.
Okay, were you out there when the police was out there?
I wasn't. I just got here about 5 minutes ago.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll send them back out to you.
Okay, thanks.
Bye. We've got several calls on that. What's changed since the last person I talked to?
There's a body.
There's a body inside?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me get you on the line with the medic, okay? Stay on the line.
All right. I mean, that's what's going on there. There's a body. Our friend wasn't answering his phone. We just did a wellness check. We just came here, and he appears dead. Okay. There's blood. He's laying next to his bed, off of his bed, and there's blood. I can't get closer to see more than that.
Okay, so you can tell he's obviously not breathing or anything?
Yeah.
Is it does he look like...
It doesn't cuddle. I can't lie.
Okay, all right, I understand. Okay, and then when was the last time somebody spoke to him?
yesterday, I suppose.
So that's the dentist. I know that was shocking. The dispatch is killing. I know they did a horrible job. I mean, okay, I'm trying to have an open mind that they, weren't as concerned because maybe they get so many calls and 90% of the time it's nothing. But I just feel like these people know the dentist so well. They were like, this is not normal. Can't get the wife. Patients waiting. They have two children, a 4 and a 1-year-old, and a dog, a golden doodle, I think. And they were unharmed and they were in the house, screaming, and it's just crazy. So I don't have an update. I was just wondering if anyone did, because they're being really tight-lipped, which hopefully means they have the suspect in line of sight and they're going to get him. That's what I'm hoping. Box, I love him. Brian Eaton is awesome. The Trial Channel. She does amazing. Oh, the Trial Channel. The channel forever does recaps of daily trials. See, that's what I need because I just don't have the time to watch. I mean, quite honestly, I just think court hearings are so boring that I can't sit. Even the Karen Reed, I couldn't watch it all day. But I like the recaps. So any place you can go and get good recaps, I'm all for. Hi, Dr. Trey. Yeah, I haven't heard anything. Has anyone heard an update on the dentist? I'm just surprised that the police went there and knocked on the door and didn't go in for a wellness check. I don't know I don't know what the laws are, but I would expect them to go in. So that's why the First Amendment is so important and freedom of speech. Brian's able to report to us. We have to protect him at all costs. So let's get Turtle Boy on here to detail his charges. Maybe we can all ping him and say, come talk. Let's do it from, I don't want to do it from the Karen Reed angle. I want to do it from the, journalists is so important to us. They get the word out. They're the face of all the events that are important to us, and we need to protect them at all costs. Yeah, they're being really tight-lipped, Dr. Trey, right? You love watching trials. Yeah. I go in and out of Baker. I do because Baker's so funny and he's so sweet, and he's so sarcastic. I have a sarcastic sense of humor, so I really like that as well. Oh, Cyberchick's sister coming in with the scoop. I always forget that. They narrowed it down to the hours of, was it 2 a.m. and 5 a.m., where they got a video of someone in the area that they were questioning. Hoodie, it looked like a guy kind of sauntering in the area. Yep, good job, sister. Let's see. Okay, if TB comes on, can we also discuss how to lock down our electronics? Just a quick side note for him. Yeah, I did a whole show, everybody. Go back and watch how we protect ourselves. I think that people like that, but I'm always concerned that it's boring, but I'd love to talk more about technology. I try to also share whatever I learn. One thing I didn't know, and you guys probably know this, but if you go back and watch a YouTube stream and you want to see what the live comments are, you have to swipe in the comments to the left. So it comes up with comments, and that's going to be comments on the replay. Swipe over. Sometimes there's a hype button. If that channel has reached a certain status, there's a hype. Swipe again. Live comments. If the creator has enabled that, and most everyone enables that. So that's a little helpful hint. Also, if you become a member to one of your favorite creators, always do it from a PC or a tablet, but not an iPad. Apple charges $2. So for instance, Jimmy's channel may be $4.99, but if you do it on your iPhone, it's $6.99. And so many people don't realize that. They don't even look. They're like, oh, $4.95, but there's a $2 charge every month. So just try to do it. Just sign up, renew on your PC, and you shouldn't have to continue to do it. So that's really good. Here's Troy Scott, first-time viewer. Greetings from Fort Worth, Texas. Welcome, Troy. Thank you for joining us. I'm Cyberchick, and we were talking about the First Amendment. But anyone new to this channel, feel free to go back and watch some of our cult videos. But I will do something tomorrow where I'll redo the podcast that I did, because it gives a good summary, and I don't think a lot of people know what we are, what we went through. And so I just want to do a quick recap on that. I had some other YouTube tips. What were the other ones that I wanted to tell people about? Make sure that when you, and I don't tell people to like and subscribe for my personal channel. That's not what I'm doing right now. Make sure if you want to be notified of any of your creators' contents that you don't just subscribe. There's a pull down button at the bell, and you should select either all or customize it to fit your needs. I don't think I've ever said like or subscribe, because look, if you like it, you're gonna hit like. If you don't, you don't. You don't have to. I know every time I watch Brian's or someone's content, they keep providing me a service. I like their stuff. So cyber tips. Let me think of a couple cyber tips I can give before I sign off. On Facebook, how they or any social media platform, they have the tests, the surveys. Hey, it'd be fun to answer all these questions. Don't do it. What was your favorite car? What was your favorite teacher? Where'd you go to high school? How many of these 100 things have you done? You can do the test. Don't publicize it. Don't put it on social media. That's a scam. That's someone looking to garnish information on you, harvest all of your information. That was the education tip for today. What other ones do I have for cybersecurity? Anyone have any questions on cybersecurity that I can launch at you? Kelly, I'm sorry that she was diagnosed with that. That's hard. That's hard. That's a hard diagnosis. I forget to hit the like all the time. Jess, I don't know why I automatically do it. It's not something that I have a problem with. Amy, I'm sorry that you've lived with it for so long. I caught some of your lives. I really enjoyed them. Everyone go sub to Amy LA 1972. So the VPN depends on, at home. Netgear is one that I use, but you can use any VPN. You can even go to your provider and see what they recommend for locking it down. I don't really do a lot of home security. I am on a board of advisors for a startup company that it's really interesting. It's called For Remote, and they go out and they scan your entire digital footprint in your house. And it's frightening. I mean, I bet I probably have 100 open areas of internet connections between, your Peloton, all your Xboxes, all the command center alone. I probably have 30. Every device that you have. Anytime a delivery driver shows up and they're connecting to your Wi-Fi, maybe if you haven't locked it down, it's not a horrible thing that you have a lot of these entry points. The scary part is, are those entry points protected? Are those entry points compromised? And that's what you have to scan for to see, like, has anybody gotten into the wild, and what are they doing? A lot of times what they're doing is they're laying dormant until it's time to harvest the information that they're looking for. Oh, see how I did that? My husband would laugh at me. I always go down that cybersecurity. I know, Kelly's like, yikes. I always go quickly down that rat hole of technology. So sorry. Sorry about that. But anytime that you want to do a technology, hour or two, I'd be happy to do it. I love it. I love it. I go on and on. Well, I'm actually going to wrap up because I am just ending my workday. We have would love to see stories about old technology, why it became obsolete. Peepers, pages, yeah, isn't that interesting? When I started out in security, like I said, it was 30 years ago. What we sold were, I don't know if anyone ever saw the Secure ID tokens. It's an algorithm that's in a container shaped like a key, and it was called Secure ID and secure tokens. And that enabled people to actually travel. So executives, we started providing it to executives could travel. And while they were traveling, it enabled them to dial safely back into their network by punching in this two-factor authentication token, which is really interesting because nowadays I remember sitting in a meeting with a very large global bank talking about the possibility of having banking applications on your phone and how to protect them and what we would do with PKI encryption technology. And they were like, we will never have banking applications on our phone. Fast forward 20 years and everyone has them. Okay. So thank you all. Let's get the word out to Turtle Boy that we want to talk more about the First Amendment, and we want to support him and other journalists. And thank you. This is 81 people is the most I've ever had on a live. I really appreciate it. I plan on doing more of these, and I appreciate your time so much. And I hope everyone has a great night. Thank you. Oh, unlike Jess, I end streams like that. I go, oh yeah, I'm done. So sorry about that, Jess. That wasn't a dig. Thank you, everyone.